Welcome back to this video, grade 12. So today we're going to take a look at question 2 of this question paper. The first question asks you to solve for x, and then they give us the equation. So there are two things that you need to notice. The first very big thing is that there is a plus on the left-hand side, which means we've got two terms. That also means we will most likely need to take out a common factor. And then the second thing is that x is in the exponents. And the only way for us to get up into the exponents is by making the base numbers the same. So the first step that I would do is to put the 2 to the power of x and 2 to the power of 1 and write them separately. This just makes it easier. So when you take out the common factor, which is 2 to the power of x, you can clearly see that from the first term, when you divide away the entire common factor, you are left with 1. And when you take out the common factor from the second term, you are left with 2. And we still have the 192 on the other side. The next step would be to divide away the numerical number. And when we do this on the calculator, we are left with 64 on the right-hand side. Now you can use a calculator to shift fact 64, and it would give you 2 to the power of 6. And now that the base numbers are the same, we can zoom in on the exponents. So then the exponents will also be equal. In the next part of this question, they again ask us to solve for x. The moment you see this square root, then you should be telling yourself two things. The first thing is that we need to isolate the root, and then the second thing would be to test our answers for x when we get to solving our answers for x. So for the first part, I'm going to keep the square root on the left-hand side as it's already positive. And then if I take over the x and I take over the 1, then they both have to change their signs. For the next part, we'd need to get rid of the square root. We do that by squaring both sides. And when you square the right-hand side, you should be writing out double the bracket. So we do not multiply the square into the bracket. That is absolutely wrong. We've got more than one term inside of the bracket, and that's the reason why we can't do it. So on the left-hand side, the square and the square root cancel out one another. And then on the left-hand side, we've got x and the minus 1. So we can multiply out the bracket. That's going to give us x squared plus x plus x plus 1. And then we can take everything to the right-hand side. So we already have 2x. If this one from the left goes over, it leaves us with 3x. And then if the 5 goes over, it will subtract. And then we can factorize this trinomial. So you can do it manually, or you can do it using the quadratic formula. Doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you show a step for factorization. And then we will get two answers. The first answer for x is -4, and then the second answer for x is going to be 1. Now, before we are done with this question, you do need to go and sub these values of x back into the equation. So you're going to sub it in there and check if it gives you 0. And then you're also going to take the -4 and you're going to sub it into x to check if it gives you 0. So I've checked this on the calculator already, and the 1 does not work, or you can write there not applicable. Okay. The next question is a log question. It says, if log 2 equals p and log 3 equals q, determine the value of log 1.5 in terms of p and q. So I would start with log 1.5, which is a mixed number, and I would go and write it as an improper fraction. You can do this on the calculator as well. You can type in second function and then the bracket, and then you'll be able to type in 1.5. You have to use the second function sorry, for the fraction, not the bracket, for the fraction. Otherwise, the 1 would just multiply with a half and it will give you the incorrect value. And then you can press Shift and the SD button, and it will show you that 1.5 can be written as 3/2, if that's difficult for you. The next thing that we should know from our log rules is that if we've got one number that is dividing by another number, then it can also be written as log of the numerator minus log of the denominator. And now that we've got everything in terms of log 3 and log 2, we can sub back their values that they originally gave us. So this becomes Q minus P. The last part in this question says if log x plus log z equals log y squared, show that x, y, and z form a geometric sequence. So geometric means that it would either multiply with a constant ratio or divide with a constant ratio. When we divide, it's just as good as multiplying with a fraction. So the first thing that we should know is that if we've got the log x plus the log z equal to log y squared, we can also write the left-hand side as x times z. So if we've got two of the same logs that add, then the values at the back multiply. And then because we still have the log y squared on the other side, we can now basically zoom in on the numbers at the back. So xz will then equal y squared, and that is more than enough to prove that this is a geometric sequence. So you can just stop there.